right, good morning, everyone. Are we ready to get rolling? If I may ask before we get started, how many of you are attending Affiliate Summit for the very first time? How many of you, if I may ask, are in Las Vegas for the very first time? How many of you, if I may ask one more, are in Vegas and attending Affiliate Summit for the very first time? So keep your hands up. Hands up. Everybody have a good look around at the ones with their hands in the air. These are the people that you might find may look a little bit like this very, very quickly, because for those of us that have been here, we've probably been through a little bit of the overwhelm already before. So to combine Vegas and Affiliate Summit in your first trip is usually very, very interesting. So good luck to you. I hope you have a great event. This is probably my 10th or 12th Affiliate Summit. My first was back in 2004 out of New York City with a grand total of 220 people on a cruise ship to Halifax, Nova Scotia. It was a great conference, but boy, has it grown ever since. Talked to Sean Collins, the co-founder of Affiliate Summit last night, and there's some 6,000 people in attendance. So just a good indicator of how this industry has grown and how it is growing. Anybody in the room happen to have been at the 2004 event? Anybody? One in the very back? All right, so there we go. So we're going to spend an hour together, and we're going to cover some interesting things. One of my primary objectives here is to try to map out a plan for you to earn $100 a day. We're going to talk about how to develop a retirement equivalent. A student of mine actually pointed this out to me when he'd hit the $2,500 mark. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. We're going to share 8 tips for selecting a profitable affiliate program. When I got started in 1999, it was pretty simple to find, or not to find an affiliate program, but to select one, just because there wasn't many to choose from. Now there's literally tens of thousands, so any little help I can give you to find one that'll be profitable for you. I'm going to share a proven strategy that I've been using for actually just over 11 years that works even better today, that I've actually never shared before. And we're going to talk about how to develop a business that doesn't work for you just for a year or two, that you can stand up maybe 15 years later and it's still running for you. So we're going to give you some really good strategies here. So I've been a full-time affiliate marketer since 1999. I'm the host of the Affiliate Buzz podcast on webmasterradio.fm every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific. Founder of the School of Internet Marketing, and I've literally taught thousands of people through our books and courses and podcasts and various things. Earning $100 a day is something is close to me, because that's actually the goal that I set when we got started in the spring of 1999. I figured if I could just figure out a way to earn $100 a day, I could actually shut down my other business and see if I could make this internet thing work for me. We were in a little bit of a tough times financially, so if any of you are maybe struggling with some financial problems, I think you're going to find this could be a very helpful industry for you. That was actually our car. My wife here sitting in the corner here with 4 kids used to pile into that car to try to move around as a family. It was very difficult, and it was not a fun time. Very grumpy at the time. I don't even know why this photo was around, but one of my kids handed this to me. But that's probably a good indication of how things were going. One of our biggest checks that finally arrived in that year of 1999 was for $5,500 and $2.50. And it was interesting because this was a turning point for me, because I realized that this was a business, that it did work. Arlene's mother had asked her, she told me a couple days later, she'd asked her, is this thing, what's James doing online? Is this legal? And to actually put a real check in her hand was a very helpful thing. So back in 99, you can tell the era because of the monitor. That's a 19-inch monitor, weighed about 7,000 pounds. And that's our kids back then. That's when they were all kind of little. There's a 4th one. He actually took the photo. His name's Justin. And just to kind of flip through it, once the checks began, they really never stopped. I mean, that first check, that's kind of we went from a very tough time to, all of a sudden the money started to relax a little bit. Things got a little bit easier. And then the checks just continued to come in. And 15 years later, we still run a very successful business, and we still love everything we do about it. This is our daughter Shelby, the new granddaughters now. So I'm just going to take 1 minute and flip through some slides here just to give you kind of an idea where this has come and what it can probably do for you. If you're looking for kind of a lifestyle business, what I wanted a business that I could travel a lot with. I wanted a business that I could take the kids. We had some friends that had some teenagers at the time, and ours were all young. And they were really struggling with teens, and ours were still really around the ages of 10. And we wanted to be home for them during their teen years, and we were really desperate to try to figure out a way to do that. And thanks to affiliate marketing and a good buddy of mine, he wandered into my office and he said, James, let me show you what I'm doing. And he showed me a little website that he'd built, and this was back in '99 again. And he was earning some pretty substantial revenue from it. And I said, Sean, would you mind showing me how to do this? And he said, sure, I'll show you how to do this. And over the next 6 months, he literally showed me what to do. If I got stuck, I could give him a call, and he'd answer my questions, and away we'd went. And that's the result of that previous check I showed you. But over the years, is what it's allowed us to do is literally just take the kids, haul them out of school, sometimes for 3 weeks at a time, much to the dismay of their teachers, and just pile them in the minivan or put them on an airplane and take them somewhere. Sometimes it'd be for a weekend, sometimes it would be skiing, sometimes it would be off on a 3-way trip down the coast of California. Sometimes it would be, Pirates of the Caribbean. That's actually the set from the Pirates of the Caribbean. Remember when Jack Sparrow and the very first one stepped off the boat and it sank underneath him? That's the little dock. Off to Spain. So it's really just been a wonderful experience for us to be able to have trips and travel and just take the kids where we want and have a business that wasn't heavy and having a bit of a disaster waiting for us when we got home. So we literally just been able to travel and take them. Cuba was a spectacular trip. Daughter, just the three of us, Arlene and I. Disney World, big Disney fans, Bahamas. I mean, I could do this for an hour. It's just been such a spectacular way to have a business. So if you're looking for a business that's really light, that's not too heavy, this is Arlene actually a couple months ago, Graceland, one of the bucket list items we wanted to check off the list. Anybody been to Graceland? Anybody Elvis fans? Come on. So this was a goal of ours, so I highly recommend anybody want to get over to Memphis to see, that was a spectacular time for us. But it all started with this. It all started with us wanting to earn $100 a day. We figured if we could just do it. And to put this in perspective, sometimes we kind of throw this number around a little too casually. And a financial planner's student of mine actually did the numbers for me. And it's the reason we were able to, grow these guys up, staying at home, put them on an airplane, send them off on leadership camps, and do all kinds of things for them, is because of this little strategy and this little mathematical formula a guy named Todd Tressiter showed us. Before I get into it, though, let me just share a couple of real quick things. And it's the old good news, bad news story. The good news is the affiliate marketing industry is amazing. The bad news is when we got started, it was actually easier than it is today. It was easier. There wasn't as much competition. There wasn't as many places to get traffic, which sounds maybe like a negative, but it actually focused on only a couple of places to build revenue. So it was, not only was it easier, I would say back then it was probably quite a bit simpler. So today, though, the opportunity is probably greater than it ever was, maybe even much, much larger, but we have to be a little smarter these days. We can't just throw up sites, we can't just throw together content. We actually have to really work at coming up with some strategies that are going to work in order to develop that revenue. And to put the $100 a month in perspective, if you were to have a recurring revenue stream, let's take it down from a $3,000 a month, which is $100 a day, to $2,500. To have the equivalent of a $1 million retirement account paying you a yield of 3%, that would pay you $2,500 a month. So if you had a $2,500 a month recurring revenue stream from your efforts in the affiliate marketing space, creating a business here, that would be the equivalent of a $1 million retirement fund paying you a 3% yield. So it's really a worthwhile goal. So I know a lot of people that are always working to, retirement's looming and they're looking for ways to increase the amount of revenue they're going to be earning or they're going to be receiving over their time. So this is a viable way to do that. So if your business is generating $2,500 per month, that's the equivalent of a $1 million retirement program that yields 3%. And I don't want to say that's, of course, as far as we can go, but it was my original goal was to get up to that $100 a day. And of course, we went well beyond that, and I'm sure many of you will probably strive for that as well. Before we dig into the meat of it, just kind of point out what we do, because sometimes it's a little bit funny what we do. I know Commission Junction used to call us affiliate marketers or affiliates. They coined the term publishers, which makes a lot more sense, because we are publishers. We publish content, and I've always looked at it as we run a home publishing business, and we publish articles, and we publish newsletters. We publish video, ebooks, courses. We publish a podcast. We promote those publications through search, through social media, through the directories, through email, and through paid ads. And we profit from commissions on affiliate offers, and we profit on our own products. I've written a few ebooks and a number of courses. But basically, in a nutshell, it's a home publishing business. We work at home. Arlene's always got her cat somewhere near to her. And that cat knows more about affiliate marketing than most people I know. That is one smart cat. So let's look at a couple of affiliate offers. How many people are currently joined up with an affiliate program or two? About half the room? Okay, so let me just kind of take you through, just to kind of tee this up where the revenue comes from. So HostGator here, this is of course a hosting company. They have an affiliate program. And if we have a look at what they pay, you can see they pay up to $125 per sale. And if you send them 1 to 5 per month, they will pay you $50 per sale. 6 to 10 per month, $75 per sale. 11 to 20 is $100 per sale, and 21 plus per month is $125. So as it says, if you send 21 signups in any month, you will get $125 times 21 is $2,625. So a pretty simple way to figure out how much you would earn. HostGator is a great program, one of thousands. So 125 times 24 is 3,000. Scribe Content is another service, so they also offer an affiliate program. And basically, they're a social media / keyword research tool that you would embed in your website, so you can create content that is more likely to rank in the search results, because it'll help you structure the page in the correct manner. So you can see a very reputable company. It's a service offered by Copyblogger, a very reputable service provider, blogger. In their particular case, if you have a look, they'll pay, the average price of their service for the professional is $97. But the difference between HostGator and Subscribe Content, and this is key to this can make a difference that will be tenfold in your business. Not to say that you shouldn't go to companies like HostGator, but the difference between HostGator and a company like Scribe, HostGator will pay you one time for that referral. They'll pay you, as we showed, the $125 if you're sending them 21 a month or more. And 25, but the next month you need to send them another series of customers to get paid again. With Scribe Content, they pay a recurring commission. So they'll pay you 33% of the $97, which is about $32. So 32, if you sent them 94 customers and those customers stayed on, every month they're going to pay you again and again and again and again and again. So if you run the numbers on that, in order to, with HostGator, you'd be sending them 26 new customers a month every month. With them, you're sending them 94 to hit the same goal. So one of the things that I put together, and if you want a copy of it, they're kind of difficult to find. They're really reputable affiliate programs that offer recurring revenue streams or recurring income. But just touch base with Arlene, give her your number or your card, and she will send you a list of 15 of the ones that we use. They're awesome. But that's the difference. It's 32 times 94 per month ongoing. So can you see the difference there? Can you see how powerful that could be? So if you continue to do that each month, that would just double each month. And then you just work to maintain what you've got coming through the door. So before we get into the meat of this, just one quick thing on selecting a profitable offer. There's, of course, as we said, there's literally thousands, probably tens of thousands of affiliate programs to choose from nowadays. One of the things I always look at is cost. How much does the product cost that we're representing? How much is it that we're marketing? Because if it's $2 and I'm making a 20% commission on it, or $200, I want to make sure that I've got my the cost of that the retail cost of that product is up there. Of course, we want to have a look at commission. What's the commission rate? Is it decent? More importantly, I would say, is what's the conversion rate? So if you can get a hold of your affiliate manager to find out how well things are converting. Do they have happy customers? Of course, if you can usually find good reviews, happy campers that are using it. Cookies, how many are familiar with the term cookies? Okay, so the cookies is basically the number of return days. So if you send a visitor to the merchant's website and they don't purchase today, but 3 weeks from now they go back to the site directly, the cookie should have been set so that you still get paid for that referral. Creative is the materials they give you to help you promote the program. So I love the merchants that say, hey, I got videos, we've got all of this great creative for you, banners, articles to help you promote. And then, of course, the last one's cooperation. I want an affiliate manager that I can get a hold of, because they're gold. If you can find somebody that's going to get behind you and partner with you to help you become successful promoting their product or their service, it can be a real win-win for all parties involved. Okay, so let's get into how we can generate the $100 per day. So, sales funnel. This is basically the sales process that we use. This is a simple funnel. You can see on the far side, of course, we always need a traffic source. Where are we going to get people that are interested in these products and services that we're going to be marketing? Early days, when we got started, we had 3 choices: Alta Vista, web crawler, and Excite.com. Those were the 3 big search engines at the time. 2001, Google reared its head, and we then looked to them and Yahoo. Today, it's a whole different animal. Today, we deal with paid ads. That may be Google ads or Facebook ads. Search, of course, Google primarily. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+. You could probably throw YouTube in there. They're trying to play social. Podcast is something we're going to talk a lot about today because I think it could help you really win. Email, of course, because email keeps them coming back to your site over and over again. And then there's lots of other ways to drive traffic. So, but the first step in the sales funnel is we definitely need a place that we can gather in traffic from. Number 2 is when we bring that traffic in, we need a place to send them. And you don't want to just send them to the homepage of your website or some page on your site that's not organized to convert that visitor into an action. So I like to send, and I'm going to give you some examples of this. We're going to slow this down in a minute and take you through this step by step. But there's some examples of an email opt-in landing page. There's a saying, it's one thing to get them to your site. There's a whole other thing to keep them coming back. And the money is building a relationship with your visitors and your audience and keep them coming back. You'll find that that's where the true revenue is. So we'll bring them into a landing page, send them off to a thank you page, which puts them into a newsletter series, and then of course there's all kinds of ways to feed into that newsletter. Once we get them through the opt-in process, we send them to a product page where they can make a purchase. There's usually an upsell, most often in the affiliate space, provided by the merchant. And then the back end is where we come back in, where we have an autoresponder series or a series of very well-written emails that helps to engage that visitor who came in looking for a very specific product that landed on that page. And then we make sure we keep them coming back over and over again through strategies such as a podcast or an email newsletter or maybe a weekly blog. So that's a very simple sales funnel. So let me take you through a real simple case study here. Not related to the affiliate industry by design. This is a very small market. We have a market that we can go after that's this big. This happens to be a little market that this also worked in. So this is a gentleman, his name's Dr. Cale Copeland. He's a Victoria-based chiropractor on Vancouver Island, just across the water from Vancouver. He had a problem, but we'll relate to a lot of these. He's looking to expand his practice. He wants to increase his revenues. Problem is, when he had a good look at it, he's only bringing in one new customer a month from the web, just one customer a month. And he realized, that's not going to work. Lots of competition, and like just about every business owner I've ever met, extremely busy. Not really wanting to have to engage. How do I figure out this whole internet thing? Kind of annoyed with it, actually. Lots of phone calls to the office from people promising them high rankings in the results, promising them all kinds of things that, quite frankly, are not realistic. So real jaded to the whole idea. So we ended up getting referred to him, and the first thing we did after an analysis was we added some audio to his website. We're going to talk a lot about audio from now to the end of this session. We wanted to give Dr. Copeland a voice. We wanted to help him use his voice and his experience to instantly build credibility and trust with the visitors who were landing on his site. We embraced Google, meaning he didn't like Google at that point, so we talked him around on that. Cleaned up a little bit of SEO, and then we put a strategy in place to help him increase the number of reviews he was getting to his business. But the primary thing we did was the audio. So the outcome, and the audio is 3.5 minutes long. Look at the results. Historically, 1 new patient a month. After we were done, 18 new patients a month, an increase of 1,700% in new patients per month. And that's continued on month after month after month after month for over a year now. Last time I talked to him, he tallied up 192 patients. From the primary change we made was adding a 3.5-minute audio to his website. This works so well in the affiliate marketing industry. Here's his website, and I apologize, I don't have the audio hooked up, but if I did, what you'll hear, you can see that audio is 3 minutes and 28 seconds long. It comes in, it's very nice, a little bit of music up front to kind of let the visitor know there's some music here, and there's some volume. Doesn't startle them. Then a professional broadcast host comes on and says, "Hi, this is Kimberly Henry. I'm here with Dr. Cale Copeland from Victoria Family Chiropractic, and we're here today to talk about," we go back to his page there. We go back to his page here. We're here to talk about whiplash. She's got 3 really nice questions that person who's dealing with whiplash. Imagine you just had a car accident, right? You're sick, you're not well, you're hurt, you're off work, you wrecked your car, probably not too happy with the guy that hit you. And now you land on this page. Little 2-3 question answer period. Then Kimberly thanks the doctor and then invites the listener, who's also the visitor to the site, to give Dr. Cale a call at the number on the top right-hand corner of the page. 1,700% increase. So why does it work so well? Audio is something that I've worked with since 2003 when we launched our podcast, so I've had good experience with it. First thing it does is it grabs people's attention, especially in Dr. Cale's case, because that audio plays automatically when somebody hits the page. So you can imagine if you had an affiliate page now with a product that you carefully researched from a merchant, and you understood that what their problems and their challenges were, and you put together a really nice page, but then you also go that extra step and you add a little audio that really addresses that problem, grabs their attention, share the knowledge and expertise of what it's going to do for them. They get to hear the caring and the compassion in the voice. They hear the passion. Trust is very quickly established, and then at the end of that little audio, it's a little call to action, which could be fill in the lead form, click on the buy button, give us a phone call, whatever that action would be. I hardly see anybody using audio on their websites. It's very rare, and the few that I do see, it's usually not used effectively. So in his case, so appreciative of what you've done, made a massive difference, so happy to be introduced to you, and really underscore and audio podcasting, or audio. So when we look at the human voice, how many have grandchildren in the room? Not many. How many have children in the room? When they started to baby babble, what was the first thing you wanted them to say to you? Anybody? Moms? What's the first word you wanted to hear from your baby? Mom? How about dads? Dada? So we've got 2 brand new granddaughters. One's 4. What was the first thing I was waiting for her to say? Little Brookie. Dada. the grandpa, data, grandpa. And then we've got a little 1-year-old. She's actually 13 months now. So I'm waiting for it. Grandpa, I'm still waiting on it. We're practicing every time we get together. But why is that? The human voice is something that is the most powerful thing we have. Think about this too in communication. What's the most natural way in which we communicate? We talk to each other. We use our voices, right? We use our voices. So many of us don't use our voices on our website, and it can make a huge difference. You can see this is Heidi Cohen. She's a brand strategist. And she says, it should not be surprising that the sound of a compassionate human being promotes feelings of trust, but this also may be important to branding. So it gives you both sides of it. When I mention audio, and I've been talking about audio for years, sometimes I get this glaze over because, James, how do you monetize a podcast? How do you monetize an audio? Well, let's look at that. How many of you have blogs or read blogs? Okay, so let's imagine this was a blog post. What do we have here? We have a headline. We have some text, maybe some bullet points. We have the ability to leave comments. Sound familiar? Let's say this was a podcast. Exactly the same, but we had an audio player in the mix, and now we have a method to talk to them. In the left-hand column, if we're writing about a product for a merchant and we're offering a suggestion to a reader to, hey, go buy this product, we'd put a little link down at the bottom of that page to take them right to the page on that merchant's website so they can make the purchase, right? Pretty simple. Same with the podcast. We can put it on the bottom of the page, put it anywhere on the page you want, click on this link and go off and make a purchase for the product that we're recommending. The difference is the audio at the top of the page. That audio, you can build a relationship with them, they can get to know you. You can also ask them to give you a quick call. You can ask them to go to your lead page, sign out a form. So if we look at blogging, always research involved. Anytime I'm writing an article or I'm doing a podcast, the first thing we do is spend the time on the research to make sure that we've got a good offer, that we know what we're talking about, that we're going to cover it off well. We're going to then create the content. In the blog case, it's text. In the podcast, it's audio plus text. Create the content, yes and yes. Could have put a merchant offer in there so we can make some money off that, yes. Call to action towards the end, yes. Comments at the bottom, yes. We're going to hook up the analytics so we can see how many people read the blog or listened to the podcast. Did they take the action, yes or no? We're going to make sure we got the SEO in place so the blog or the podcast both have a good opportunity to rank in the results. We're going to send it out to our newsletter. We're going to promote them on Facebook. We're going to promote them on Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and then that's where it stops. On the podcasting side, the podcasting world has absolutely exploded onto the scene. iTunes just sent out a press release last August. They just signed up their 1 billionth podcast subscriber. A lot of people look at iTunes and they think music. iTunes has 500 million people subscribed for music. iTunes has 1 billion people subscribed who are listening to podcasts. 500 million people are subscribed to iTunes to listen to music. 1 billion people are subscribed to iTunes to listen to podcasts. And there's an average of 500,000 people a day signing up for iTunes. You may have heard iHeartRadio. You start to hear that a lot. So what we're talking about today here is the ability to create a little show, and don't let that scare you, we're going to talk about that in a second, that you can put on these major directories like iHeartRadio, like Stitcher, like TuneIn, like Spreaker, like Blueberry, like SoundCloud, iTunes for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Imagine going down to your local radio station and say, hey, I want to start my own show. They're going to say, okay, that'll be X number of dollars, and then we'll talk about it. This gives you the ability to do that and put your content on these major networks at no cost. Okay, so 4 ways to monetize audio. So even if you don't take me up on the podcasting idea I'm about to share with you in a minute, these are some ways, these top 3 ways that you can use audio on any website to increase conversion rate, increase your revenues. Arlene, can you give me a time? How are we doing for time? Audio attention grabber. That's what we just showed you on Dr. Kale's site. Typically 3 to 4 minutes in length, real simple. Plays automatically. Host typically interviewing the expert, but sometimes, thank you, sometimes you could be just yourself on there and a call to action. And if you would like, I've got actually a whole collection of about 25 audio examples of this, just short little ones that you could listen to that you could use to brainstorm ideas for your own topic and your own content. If you want to just touch base with Arlene there at the end there, she'll be happy to get that over to you. Audio testimonial is something else that can really, really work for you well. We've used this for years and years and years. A lot of us will have testimonials on our website from a happy customer. You can set up through little voicemail systems and stuff. They're all over the internet now. Just look for ways to record an audio testimonial from a customer. They'll give you a little code you could put on your site. Now when somebody wants to leave you a testimonial, they can use use their voice to leave the testimonial. It'll bring it to life like you've never seen before. And then the audio newsletter. I'm going to talk about my podcast in a second here, but that's how our podcast began. It was an audio newsletter. We launched it in 2003, 2 years before the word iPod or podcast was even coined. Didn't exist at that time, so we called it an audio newsletter. Typically 15 to 30 minutes in length. Could be standalone or usually standalone or a companion to a text-based newsletter. And in my particular case, we charge $10 a month for our buzz for the first 3.5, 4 years, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it turned into revenues of over $300,000 just from a little $10 a month subscription. And that would be a direct way to earn revenue from a podcast, is to charge a subscription for it. We call that direct revenue. But there's also indirect ways to earn revenue from a podcast as well, which we're going to cover off now because we switched the buzz from direct revenue to indirect revenue around 2006, which did way better than the first part. And then there's a podcast, which is typically 15 to 30 minutes in length, episodic in nature, so it continues from week to week, syndicates through the podcast directories, and it's a great way to do interviews and stuff, so we'll cover that. So just a little challenge for you. If your sales presentations and your marketing is on mute, meaning you're not using your voice, as you go through the sessions over this next couple of days, just keep this in mind. Your voice is probably the most powerful way you have to communicate with your audience. Audio online these days is not very prevalent. You'll find audio and video. That's the primary place you'll find it. And the great video people of the planet will tell you the secret to a great video is your audio. But there's a lot of advantages to audios only over video. So I've got a little booklet here that's 12 great audio marketing ideas. You're welcome to it. We'll probably just package all this up and send it to everybody that wants it. Put it all together. So there's 12 audio marketing ideas in here that you can use. And you can use this to brainstorm some ideas for your own sites. Epilepsy moms. So how many people, when I say you should have your own podcast, shut down right there and said, I can't do that? Be honest with me. I know she did, or my wife did. There's quite a few hands coming up. This is our son Adam. If you can read that, it says, when our son Adam was 4 years old, he was having 200 to 300 seizures a day. Today he's 24 years old and has been drug and seizure free for 14 years. So imagine having a kid that's having 200 to 300 seizures a day for 4 years. It was just pure hell. We ended up finding a special diet on Dateline NBC called the ketogenic diet. Arlene got a hold of Children's Hospital, convinced them to put him on the diet. Within 1 day, he was seizure free. And hasn't had a seizure for 14. Actually, he's 27 now, so it's probably a little longer than that. Add 3 years to that, 17 years. So, of course, she wanted to put a website together just to share that idea with moms. And we were doing a boot camp in our online conference room. And I said just offhandedly to her, hey, you should do a podcast. You really got to share this information in an audio form. The first thing she said to me is like, I am not doing that. I can't do that. I will not do that. Fortunately, I had 125 students in the webinar with me, and they all said, yes, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And she did it. And she created a little podcast. And that's the other thing with podcasts. You don't need to be thinking about doing a podcast forever. When I started our podcast in 2003, we figured we'd had enough content for 7 months. And we'd be done. We'd be able to cover everything we could in 7 months. 11 years later, we're still going, and there's no end to the content. In her particular case, so she only had 7 episodes that she wanted to get out there. She had 7 things she wanted to share, and she wanted to interview the doctors that were instrumental and the moms and some of the people that were helping us get Adam back on track. Arlene wrote a book called Getting Adam Back, A Mother's Triumph Over Epilepsy and Autism, and that's a little audio for her podcast. There's one of the doctors she interviewed who ended up sending out that podcast to his entire group. And he's a very powerful guy. But the bottom line on this is here's the scary part. She just about didn't do it. She did it because she was pressured into it, and she probably wouldn't have. And she's thrilled she did it now. But here's a testimonial that came in, and she was petrified. She kicked us all out of the house at 6 o'clock on the night she did her first episode, including the cat. Everybody out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it. And she did it, and it went perfectly. But this is a typical example of a testimony that comes into her site. My son's life was changed forever when we came across Adam's story. Austin had a great response to the ketogenic diet, and the changes we see, he is happier, smiling, sleeping better, and is like a different kid. No longer clouded by medications and seizures. We see new abilities coming out in him each day. For me as a mom, the biggest relief is getting my child back and getting to know him as a clear-headed 2-year-old. One of the best parts of this miracle is that since being seizure-free, he just started to say mom. So the reason I point this out is not because it's a great story, which it is. It's how scary would it be to have your personal story and the things that you can share with people not get out there just because of a little bit of fear, which I think you'll find is unfounded once you figure out how really simple this is. Anybody recognize this guy? Didn't get a lot of hands up for Elvis. He's well known as the #1 entertainer of all time. What I didn't know, and what I learned when we went to Graceland, it says I never got over what they call stage fright. I go through it every show. Can you imagine that? You got the greatest entertainer of all time. People worship the ground he walked on, would do anything to get in front of the guy. And here he's got the same fear as we all do. Okay, so audio. We talked about the effects of audio with Dr. Kale and how one little audio can have a profound impact in a little marketplace. The amazing thing about audio is what I call the audio ripple effect. Of course, you're going to publish it on your own site. That just makes sense because that's where your audience is or will be coming to. But with audio, you can automate it very simply, usually within a few hours of work, and it's just kind of connecting the dots. So that when you publish that audio on your site, automatically Stitcher, which is a podcasting director, major audiences in these directories. These are not just little places that you're going to have your show. These are major podcasting directories that you can submit your content to for free. iHeartRadio, iTunes, Blueberry, Spreaker. These all update automatically the second you publish your show. You don't have to do anything extra. In addition, your Facebook, your Google+, your Twitter, your YouTube, and your LinkedIn pages can all update with your latest episode automatically. Including your newsletter can be sent out with the latest to podcatchers are updated. The tablets are updated. Anybody who's subscribed with their smartphones, these are all updated automatically, and Wi-Fi radio as well. Audio is easy to create. It's very easy to consume. So how many of you listen to podcasts? They say something around the tune of 40% of the US now listens to podcasts on a regular basis. This is an article just came out of USA. It says, remember podcasting, it's back and it's booming. Washington Post podcasts are back and making money. And the reason is we've kind of gone through a little bit of a renaissance here. When the iPod came along, everybody's, oh great, we can finally listen to podcasts easily. But you still had to download them. You still had to get them into your pod, and they weren't the greatest devices to listen on. Now that the smartphones, though, how many have a smartphone in their pocket or in their purse? Just about everybody these days has one. They all have built-in podcast players, and it's one of the primary reasons these have taken off. So where do you listen? Well, in my particular case, I get notes from listeners. I listen while I'm on my run. I listen to you while I'm in the car. I listen to you while I'm traveling. I listen to them while I'm working. I listen to them while I go to sleep at night. It's crazy. So we talked a little bit about that. We talked about that. Podcasts are being built into almost every mobile device on the planet, even being added into new cars. So Apple, with their Apple Play system and Google with their equivalent has signed deals with all the top major manufacturers of the cars. And this year, first year 2015, you're going to start to see these podcast players, these players in everybody's car. Imagine having an iPad built into the dash of your car. It's going to be great. Tied directly to the net and to these podcasting directories. So what's a podcast? It's a digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or a portable media player, typically available as a series, new installments of which can be received by subscribers automatically. There's a brand new podcast that just came out probably 3 months ago. It's called Serial. It's the #1 podcast on the web. 1.5 million downloads per episode. Quick case study, last one before we get into the details of podcasting and earning $100 a day. So Blair, another very small market, little market, Langley, BC, wanted to become a politician. First time running, no online presence whatsoever, needed a strategy to be able to connect with potential voters of his fast, had 24 other guys going for the same spot he won. Historically, running as a first-time candidate, today he won. So he won the election. What we did for him, we created a podcast strategy to give him a voice. We need to use our voices. We created a website to help him tell his story. We developed a social media strategy to syndicate his podcast to further reach locally and his podcast page. Publish it on his site. Benefits, same as KL, Dr. KL. Of course, you can share it we talk about the ripple effect, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, iTunes, and all of the other podcast directories update automatically. And it won the election for him. My own buzz, thousands of students, when we wrote the handbook, had questions overwhelming the support desk. A buddy of mine who I was talking with, who came up with the idea for the audio newsletter, he says, I wish we would have recorded that conversation we just had. Your students would have loved to hear it. He says, leave it with me a couple weeks, I'll get back to you. He came back to me 2 weeks later with this idea to record a twice-a-month audio newsletter called the Affiliate Buzz. And I was like, okay, good idea. 11 years later, it solved the problem big time. Outcome, 20,000 monthly listeners, downloads, syndicated, speaking engagements, all kinds of advantages to having your own podcast. What we did, very simple. We just created an audio newsletter, put my dream car in the garage. I can really attribute that to the podcast. Audio fits in all verticals. Ideal for affiliate marketers. I've used it there for years. It's so good. I'm hoping to really convince you of it as a strategy. If you're an author, a speaker, or a coach, if you're a subject matter expert, a consultant, a trainer, an educator, an outsourced program manager, or you own an affiliate network, this all fits in all places. Thank you. Okay, so we focus on 5 things. Why does this matter to you? It's the key to positioning yourself as the go-to expert in your marketplace. One thing, if you put together a little podcast, doesn't have to be, we're not talking about being a broadcaster here. Nobody wants a Radiohead to listen to. We got enough of that on the radio. We want you, we want the human voice. Look at reality TV. But it does position you as a go-to expert in your marketplace. It's a great strategy because it enables you to get stuck. It gives you a clear path to run on. It allows you to create a loyal, responsive audience that's ready to buy because they trust you. It allows you to expand your online footprint and reach untapped market potential. If you don't have a podcast, you cannot get into iTunes or Spreaker or Stitcher or Blueberry or iHeartRadio or all of these major podcasting directories. And it allows you to create brand loyalty and keep clients and customers coming back. You'll probably hear, for anybody that's brand new, the money's in the list, you got to build the list. You can build a list of newsletter subscribers, that's totally doable, but I have found building a list of loyal podcast listeners is way easier. So this is an in-depth crash course on using audio to earn $100 a day in recurring income. There are some nuances here, so just pay real attention here, if you could. It's much more than just saying I'm going to create an audio and generate some sales. There's much more to it than that, the importance of having a complete strategy. And I'm going to go through all 5 of these here. So number 1, and I'm going to go through them quickly and then I'm going to take some time. Number 1, Podcast is the primary strategy. We work with you figure out your goals and objectives. The goal, of course, could be to earn $100 a day. You have some episode topics you're going to cover. You need a format for your show. Brand notes, traffic, funnel we talked about, stats, and then the strategy to keep them coming back. So we talked about the ripple effect, not to be underestimated. Plus, everybody can share a podcast no matter where they are on any one of these sites. So 2 phases to do this right. Number 1, and you should want to take some notes on this, this is it. And this is 11 years of experience in podcasting to put this together, if I may say. So phase number 1, podcast development. 7 steps. Need to figure out your goals. So who your ideal customer is, episode topics, format, episode outline, and branding. So let's go through this step by step. So goals and objectives. Maybe your goal is to position yourself as the go-to expert in your marketplace. I'll encourage you all, one homework item if I may. Go home and do a search in any podcasting directory for your competition on your subject matter. I'll bet you'll find 1, maybe 2. Why is this important? In the blogging world, there's 450 million blogs. So, this is part of the bad news. If you're going to write a topic, an article on a topic, just about any topic under the sun in the affiliate marketing space, immediately you're going to compete with a minimum of 1,000 other articles, pretty much on the same topic. So your competition is high. If you create, instead of pouring all that research into a blog post, instead you pour it into a 15-minute audio, you're going to compete with not 1,000 other people. You're going to, on average, compete with 1 other podcaster. The growth of the smartphones in this industry has left a real void, a vacuum that needs to be filled by content. The directories are screaming for quality content, and you can get top listings just because you have. It reminds me of when I got started back in 2001, when we had hardly any competition, and there was basically Wild West, let's go. So, but goals and objectives: develop a loyal, responsive audience ready to buy because they trust and need you. Maybe you're looking to expand your online footprint to reach untapped markets and opportunities. Systematize consistent communication with clients. And for anybody that wants a copy of this presentation, just let Arlene know. We'll put this in the pack for you and send it over to you. Build brand loyalty to keep existing clients coming back, maybe another reason, or whatever other reason you want. And this is the key to making this work. Identifying who your ideal customer is. If you know exactly who your target audience is, exactly who your ideal customer is, and you spend some real time drilling down into that, if you know their top 20 problems, think about this. If you know their top 20 problems, and you can research a solution for every one of those problems, you can create an episode, a podcast episode, for each one of those, and now you've got 20 episodes. You push the ripple effect button, and now those 20 episodes can be in 6 of the top podcasting directories working for you. Right now, I've got something like 367 episodes published on 6 or 8 podcasting directories. I probably have 2,000 episodes out there that could be being played right now. What problems are they attempting to solve? What are their desires and aspirations? How is your customer feeling about their current situation? If you can answer these questions, how would you like your customer to feel out when they're listening to your podcast? What's the goal for your customer? So the episode topics cover a problem, offer a solution, and then an offer. So if you know their problem is, in the chiropractor's case, whiplash, talk about the solutions. The offer is, in his case, is very simple. Give me a call at the office and I'll see if I can help you out. Set a format for the show. Is it going to be 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 60 minutes? I would recommend, if you're brand new, 15 minutes is a great place to start. You can cover a lot of ground in 15 minutes. You can cover a lot of ground in 3 minutes. 15 minutes, you can cover a lot. How often? Once a week is a great place to start. And that gives you a weekly newsletter that fills up that ripple effect, all those sites once a week. How many episodes are you going to do? Maybe you're not going to be an 11-year podcaster. Maybe you're going to be like Arlene, you only do 7. But you want to organize that up front. Maybe it's 10 episodes, maybe it's 30, maybe it's going to be an ongoing show. Is it going to be just you, or are you going to have maybe a co-host? Maybe there's two of you could get together and put a show together. Maybe you're going to have a host, a co-host. Maybe you're going to do interviews. Interviews is a great way to go. Not that complicated to do at all. Not nearly as scary as we most think. And then you can detail it all in an episode outline. So you set the format. So here's the Affiliate Buzz format. And I'll send you a copy of it if you like to look at it. But it's real simple. Hi, it's James Martell here. Welcome to edition number 367 of the Affiliate Buzz, where we've been keeping affiliates inspired, informed, and motivated to succeed with affiliate programs since 2003. For those of you joining us live, we happen to do a live show. We always have some fun with Arlene. Arlene is away today because she does play hooky on me quite often, because she's our co-host. But you can have fun with this, and you just practice it a few times, and it becomes so natural. So there's a checklist for an episode outline, which I don't have time, but you can pull it from the slides. But essentially, there's a welcome, overview of the topic you're going to be covering, call to action, some contact information. I like to share that right up front. If you're interviewing a guest, maybe add a commercial or two in the middle. Paint a picture down at the bottom of what it's like to solve your neck problem, whatever that was. Branding is you want to give your show a name. Come up with a nice intro, outro, and some artwork. So the show name needs to clearly reflect the topic you're covering. Arlene's is Epilepsy Moms. Mine is the Affiliate Buzz. Needs to be unique, recognizable, easily understood, and have, not to be too long. I like to keep them neat and tidy. So to illustrate a podcast about parenting, might be called Family Confidential, or Parenting Unplugged, or Overthinking Mom. Once you have that, you need to come up with a little intro for the show. So you want to make sure it clearly describes your show subject matter. Host introduction, benefits. So this is the little intro that plays at the beginning of every single episode. So there would be mine there, webmasterradio.fm is proud to present. So that's played before each episode. The benefits of listening, the frequency, music, sound effects, and you want a male or female voice to do it. How many of you use Fiverr? Fiverr, you can get a great intro created for $5. So don't let the cost of these things scare you away. This is not a lot of money to put this together. And then your show artwork is the third part of your brand. You want a little, what they call it, the show artwork, your show name. That's why you don't want your name to be too long. You want to put your smiling face on there. A tagline, an image, color, and then come up with a few various sizes. All of the podcast directories, you can upload these into there for free to promote your show. Your show notes, you want to come up with the format for your show. So the notes are basically the notes you provide along with the player. So we showed the combination of the blog with the show notes next to them. So this is those. This happens to be mine. I think Ashley's in the room. Is Ashley in the room here? There you go. Hey, Ash. Great interview. Did you share it? Thank you. The great benefit to doing a show. So show notes. So you can see they've been shared. 5 likes, 5 Google Pluses, retweeted 19 times, shared twice on LinkedIn. There's Ashley in person at the back. Okay, but these are the notes. Obviously, they can be optimized to rank. So again, speak up. Those 2 steps. So the sales funnel, again, traffic source. We happen to be emphasizing podcasting. This works on any traffic source. Move them into an opt-in to the product page, upsell, and then bring them back. So then phase 2 here. So phase 1 is just getting the podcast ready. Phase number 2 is creating the actual ongoing episodes. So we get back to the 25 times 24 is 3,000. Then we go to scribe content, which is the 32 times 94 is 3,008. So if you had 94 customers here, paying you $32 a month, that's the $3,000 a month we're talking about. If we're going to put together a podcast about this episode, we have a couple choices, obvious choices. One, we could research it ourselves, and then just create a little 15-minute audio talking about the benefits, how this works, call to action, link through to the affiliate page where they can subscribe. So 8 steps. Research, offer the solution. So if it's described content as an example, People who are in social media, people who are in search, looking to get their content to rank highly, that's their problem. The solution could be scribed content. We send them off to an episode or to a landing page. Okay, so let's kind of walk through these real quick. So research, what's the problem or challenge? So if you're writing a blog post, if you're writing anything online, doing any content at all, any video at all, same formula. What's the problem and challenge? What are the benefits of solving the problem and the challenge? What is the solution to the problem and the challenge? So if you can answer these questions in a podcast, what are the 8 questions? So if you're going to have a guest on, or not, maybe you're going to answer these questions yourself. So what's the typical 8 questions that somebody has when they're looking at scribe content as a solution to their problem? Answer those questions. What's the offer? They happen to offer a 30-day, no obligation free trial. What's the incentive to act now? It's the free trial. No money up, down. So again, we know what they pay, $32 per. Send them through to a nice clean landing page. They enter their email address, then they're directed off to the merchant. Put together a nice simple episode outline so you know exactly what you're going to talk about when you hit the record button. Take a deep breath. You can record it. If you don't like it, delete it and do it again. Record it. You're not live. Delete it, do it again until you're happy with it. There's our outline there. So you record it. Simple ways to record it. There's a little free software program out there called Audacity by SourceForge. I use it all the time. It's a free sound recording software. You can edit in there too. If you need to learn how to edit the audio, you can spend 10 minutes on YouTube, find an Audacity tutorial on how to edit out the ums, the ahs, put your intro on the front end. It's done. Add it to your website, produce it, and then syndicate it, which means share it on Stitcher, Spreaker, Blueberry, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Podbean. Share it through on your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Google+, and your YouTube, and then publish it to your website and your newsletter. And then if you just think about it from, once a week I need to create a really good audio with some show notes that's really high in quality, that's going to be very helpful to the listener who's looking for this solution. So then, if you had that episode with Scribe, and you say, okay, I'm going to take this little episode we just created, and I'm going to say, James, okay, I'm going to publish it in those directories. I'm going to set that up. I'm not quite sure how to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to share it. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to work with it until I can get 1,000 people to listen to my episode. Out of those 1,000 people, you're going to get a percentage of them that are going to probably take you up on your offer and go purchase that affiliate program or purchase that product, and now you're going to earn a commission. So that's all part of the share, or the syndicate share and publish. Puts the power of the ripple effect in gear for you. And then the cash register goes. So I know there's a lot of information there. I know this is a new concept. But if you just think about it as audio marketing, it's a 15-minute audio. It's not that big a deal. I know there's sometimes some fear involved. Think about Arlene when she did hers. A little bit petrified. When I did my very first one back in 2003, same idea. If you go listen to my first episode, it's hilarious. My co-host would ask me a question. I'd answer him with one answer. He goes, so how you doing today? Fine, thanks. Bad interviewee. So with some practice, 4 tools. I actually added another one this morning. Actually, and I put the wrong one in there. Actually, no, I didn't. So these are 5 tools you need. All you need is a simple headset with a microphone. Audacity we mentioned. Audio Jungle is a great site to get very low cost, $2, $3 sound effects and music for the back end of your show. Fiverr, you can get your intro produced for $5. And Blueberry is a free podcasting plugin. We've got a little audio idea kit for you. If you'd like us to send it to you, just give your card to Arlene. It includes those 15 recurring affiliate programs, the 12 audio marketing ideas report, all at no cost. We've got a 21-step checklist, how to organize your podcast in 21 easy steps. And then we've got a 35 reasons to develop a podcast to market your personal or corporate brand document. So if you give your card to that, or give your card to Arlene for those, we'll be happy to send that out to you. So thanks so much, everyone. Enjoy the conference coming up. Just one quick note before I go. If there's a feedback form on your desks there, if you wouldn't mind just taking a quick second to fill it out, always great to get your feedback on the session. Plus, for doing so, they're going to be drawing for 5. Every day, 5 forms will be randomly drawn to receive a Networking Plus pass for the next conference coming up. All right, so just take a moment and do that, be appreciated. All right, all, thanks so much.